the wild windy sea, I can hear her calling to me. So let's heave away, haul away, and fill our eyes with the shore. Calls to friends, sail and light, and a tale to brighten the night. So heave away, haul away, and heed the siren song.
Hello, ladies and gentlemen, and welcome to the Salty Siren podcast, where we cover all of naval history in a not-so-serious manner. Today's episode will feature myself, David Bradbury, and a returning co-host, Mason.
Hello.
I'm
glad to be back.
Oh, my bad.
Great start.
We're pros, can't you tell?
And I'm Jack. I'm the funny guy.
Oh, Jesus Christ. It's already off the rails. Okay, so today's podcast episode is going to be a bit of a departure from our previous ones, in that we will be covering several small topics, all kind of compiled into one episode. We're hoping this one's a little bit shorter form as well. And so, yeah, we're all going to present, and we're all going to present on something small. And today's episode is especially goofy. You've been warned. All right. And with that, Jack, are you ready to present on whatever cursed topic you've prepared?
Oh boy, am I.
All right.
My topic isn't super cursed. Really, neither of mine are. So I hope you guys brought the meme machine energy. First, I wanted to tell y'all about the SS Badger. Because I am going to be riding on it in like 2 weeks.
Huh.
Interesting.
Yeah, so this is the SS Badger is a passenger and vehicle ferry that has been in service on Lake Michigan since 1963. And it goes between Ludington, Michigan and Manitowoc, Wisconsin, crossing a distance of 62 miles, and it connects U.S. Highway 10 between the two cities. The reason I'm going to be on this is because my dad is taking me on a trip to Summerfest in Milwaukee.
Oh,
which is
hell
a big,
yeah.
Yeah.
Summerfest rocks.
Oh, have you been there?
I have, yes. I saw Rush perform on July 4th back in 2013. Long time ago, so. But yeah.
Oh, that sounds awesome. The lineup isn't as exciting, at least the weekend I'm going. But that's no big deal. I'll still have fun.
So how about that badger?
But how about that badger? Yes. Me and my dad will be boarding the last coal-fire passenger vessel that is operating on the Great Lakes, and really in the U.S.
As a biologist, I have to insert my statement here to say that's a good thing. Get those coal-burning ships out of here.
Yeah, I'll get to that. So this is So this SS Badger was originally designed as a rail car ferry, as in trains, and you roll the cars onto the ferry, and they have tracks on them, and that was cheaper back then than running the train around Lake Michigan. And eventually trains got good enough where that the Badger just wasn't viable anymore. It also had a sister ship, the SS Spartan, and they had a reinforced hull for ice breaking, which is pretty cool. And they were supposed to operate year-round, in the winter and the summer and all that. It was converted to a car and passenger ferry in 1991 after it became unprofitable, and they were just going to use it for just carrying people. And as I said, it's the last large coal-burning steamship in the United States.
How large and in charge are we talking here?
It looks like a little baby Titanic.
Oh, wow.
Yeah. It's, I think, 401 feet long.
Yeah, that's a good size.
Decent sized ship. 410 feet.
Okay.
6 inches.
And 6 inches.
Hey, that's
Yeah,
important.
forget.
That's important, those 6 inches.
6 inches makes a big difference.
I mean, sure, let's just keep going.
So, this large coal-burning steamship can cross Lake Michigan the distance of 60 miles in the breakneck speed of 4 hours.
How does she do it?
Yeah, so it's you're getting on for the novelty.
Right.
So some interesting factoids about the SS Badger, more I guess. It has various historical distinctions and protections by a bunch of different people. It's a historic site in 2 states, that being Michigan and Wisconsin.
Interesting.
And things like its propulsion system, there's a society of engineers that want to protect this specific ship and its power plant configuration, just because of the engineering of it.
Okay.
And then there's like a society of steamship stands that just like big steamships, so
Steam stands.
naturally they want to protect it. Yeah.
You know, I never thought I would hear the word "stan" associated with steamships, but here we are.
I bet we've got a lot of steamship stands listening right now.
Really cornered the market.
Yeah, my Steam stands out there. Where are you at? Let us know in the comments below.
Give me an AO.
God.
Give me a psst.
If only one of us had a soundboard with like the old ship foghorn.
Oh,
Let me get a like.
that was pretty good.
No, yeah.
Thank
You want to take
thank
another
you.
swing at it?
Yeah, one more.
I think I'm good. All right. Sorry, Jack. Steam stands, people wanting to preserve the Badger.
Yeah. Steam stands, where you at? Shout out. I think the most interesting distinction is the National Park Service designated the SS Badger as a National Historic Landmark on January 20th, 2016, which I didn't know the National Park Service could protect a boat.
That is kind of interesting.
So maybe there's other things that they protected besides parks that I don't know about. I'm curious what those are.
Yeah, I don't know. It is odd that they can classify an object such as a ship as something that's protectable under. Yeah, that's just odd. Like, could they do like a building?
Yeah, that's what I'm saying. Or a dog, or
They're two very different things.
We went, they can protect a boat. They could protect a building. What about a dog?
could they classify an NFT as a historic landmark?
Ugh.
I don't think so. I don't think so because they don't exist and they suck. So
All very based points. Anyway, Mason, to get back to your question earlier, the SS Badger came under fire from the EPA for
thought you were gonna say someone fucking shot at it, like
yeah. Oh,
something came under fire. I was like, dude, how? It's the Great Lakes. Oh, sorry. Continue. Came under fire by the EPA.
yes. So the EPA fired 4 torpedoes at the Badger, but it bravely dodged all of them.
Hell yeah.
No. Came under fire from the EPA for dumping untreated coal ash directly into the lake.
Yeah, that doesn't sound great.
That's rough. It's a bad move.
Yeah. It is indeed a bad move.
Like, don't you think this will hurt the fish? Fuck it, dude. We're already in a coal-fired ship. Just put it in there. Oh,
well, I'll
man.
tell you what the company officials, when asked to comment on this issue, compared coal ash to, quote, harmless sand, end quote.
Yeah.
So,
Well, Mason, what are your biology thoughts on coal as harmless sand?
I'm no expert on coal by any means, but I would think that they might be somewhat justified, and that the real problem with it probably comes from burning it and everything it puts into the air. I'm surprised the EPA didn't take a shot at that rather than dumping of the ash.
I wonder, well, because I know, like, like pretty much all smoke is carcinogenic to some degree. I wonder if the ash would kind of pose... Ah, shit, now it sounds like I'm suggesting that it causes fish cancer, but...
you saying a fish can't get cancer?
I don't know. I don't know enough. Mason, can they get cancer?
I don't know.
Okay. We're at a loss. Alright, so harmless sand. Not a great
Google says
argument.
yes.
They can get cancer.
But not sharks. Sharks never develop cancers.
How?
What?
Because they're incredible. I don't know.
Okay, yeah.
Yeah, I guess.
I mean, sharks probably aren't in the same family as fish, right?
As a walleye in the
sharks-
Great Lake, probably not.
Probably not. Dude, you never know. There could be some sharks in the Great Lakes. It's not impossible.
There's got to be a bull shark in there somewhere.
He's just vibing until someone dumps ash all over him.
This is the last straw.
All right, what
Yeah,
else
if
do we
any-
have on the Badger?
Yeah, sorry, derailed us.
Yeah, so I wanted to. So have no fear. The EPA did go after them for burning coal,
Good.
which obviously violates the Clean Air Act.
That it does.
But the SS Badger was exempted because it's a historical landmark, and it's probably literally only last coal burning steamship, or one of the last ones in the United States.
Nice. Well,
Seems like a fair justification.
yeah, the coal spewing everywhere, not nice. The fact that it's allowed to keep running, that's nice.
Yeah, and because the EPA yelled at them, the ash is now loaded off when it gets to Manitowoc, Wisconsin, where they use it to make cement.
That sounds much better.
So
That does.
Yeah.
Indeed.
And I did read an article. They are considering using a new propulsion system. So it's not going to be ash or coal burning for much longer, I don't think.
Then what's the point?
Well, when the bull shark population of the Great Lakes makes a resurgence, we'll know that that was the cause.
Thanks, EPA.
All right.
All right.
Very nice. So, are we finished with the Badger then?
Yeah, we're finished. I'll relate my firsthand experience when I get back. But yeah, that's all I got.
Sounds good. So, as a precursor to this next section, which we will be covering, when the idea for this episode was pitched in our group chat, the example that was given of something we could cover was the Sweet Life on Deck from Zack and Cody. And so I was like, okay, we're not doing anything serious with this at all. So Jack has very nicely presented on this historical ship operating in the Great Lakes. And for my topic today, I chose something that very loosely fits the definition of a ship and therefore the Navy.
The Navy?
It is, yeah, it's technically a part of a Navy,
Okay.
and that is the airship map from Among Us. So, forgive us, dear
Among Us.
listeners.
Among Us.
Christ. Okay, but it's technically there's we'll get to it, but all right. So to break it down, the airship is a map in the hit game Among Us. I'm not gonna be able to get through this. Fuck. Where it was originally from another game that the studio made called the Henry Stickmin series. Infiltrating the airship, I believe, is the specific game. But in general, the airship is the fourth map in Among Us. It's the largest one with more tasks, 17 new locations, and lots of Henry Stickmin related cosmetics, and it released alongside the airship skin bundle. So you could give your Amogus a top hat. So, the general premise is this giant ship flying in the sky where you'll work together to help out I don't know, this Top Hat dude. I didn't play the Henry Stickmin games. So it's got all sorts of stuff, but I thought I would kind of go into the general history of the Among Us airship. Because we are a history podcast. So,
Yeah, what were the... I remember the Japanese surrendered on the Among Us airship.
the inciting incident of the Vietnam War was when the Among Us airship was built. Okay, anyway. So, for those of you who have somehow lived in a hole for the past, like, so many years, the Among Us game exploded in popularity over COVID, and due to that popularity, the developer, Innersloth, had actually moved on to other games, but came back to Among Us to work on it full-time because it had gotten so huge out of nowhere. So thank you, coronavirus, for giving us Amogus. So the team at Innersloth officially confirmed they were working on the airship on September 23rd, 2020, as it was published in a teaser little image/trailer on the Among Us Twitter account, which is a phrase. It was originally intended to be included with Among Us 2. However, Among Us 2 was canceled after the surge in popularity of the original, and they decided to take everything they were going to put in Among Us 2 and just wrap it into Among Us 1 through free updates, which, you know, that's a nice thing to do. Like, I'm proud of them for that.
Yeah, I don't know why more people don't do that.
I mean, they want more money.
Yeah.
Let's see. So Innersloth on their developer log said that it would be free to all players, and then on, let's see, November 18th, 2020, the first post on the Among Us Twitter account was of the cockpit of the big ol' airship. Apparently there was some reference to the way the Among Us character had a top hat and a character in the Henry Stickmin games, but this is about the ship, not about Henry Stickmin. So, in kind of a hilarious little show of how much work goes into this, there's an interview with Innersloth, and he was asked if he made any plans for the new map. Their guy, which, what a last name, Marcus Bromander.
Whoa.
Charmander.
I just got chills.
Charmander, but a bro. And he responded, quote, "Ah, yeah, I've got 4 rooms drawn, and I've got the layout of the map kind of sketched out." End quote. What a guy. You're in an official interview and they're like, "Yeah, how's that new map coming?" You're like, "Oh yeah, dude, I got 4 rooms drawn and the rest, it's sketched. We're on target." But with that, the announcement trailer was shown at the Game Awards in 2020 as well. And when the Nintendo Switch version came out in 2020, the airship was accidentally released on that version with its new cosmetics. It wasn't patched very quickly either, so many players using the Nintendo Switch were able to leak gameplay of the maps and just in general play on the new map. Then in March of 2021, the ship was actually released. So March 31st. I believe was the actual date. Yes. So now we'll get into the locations of the Among Us airship. So first we have
When they
go ahead.
when they launched the map, did they christen a server and just bash a champagne bottle on a tower?
Immediately shorting it out. Hey, maybe that's how the Switch version leaked. But
Maybe.
we've got electrical, which I don't know about you guys, but there have been many people acting sus and electrical when I've played Among Us.
Very true.
But in general, we've got some returning favorites such as electrical, as well as the cockpit area that was teased in the first image. There's a vault circular room with a new task: polish the ruby. Well, there's also dress the mannequin in said vault. There's a brig that
They were really trying to play into the fan art there, huh? With the mannequin.
Twerking Among Us gif inserted here. Oh, did I tell you guys that I bought a 6-sided dice, like 24 of them, where the 6 is the twerking Among Us?
No, you did not.
It's pretty funny. But
Funny enough to buy 24?
oh yeah, dude, I need a bunch of 6-sideds for playing like Warhammer and shit.
Yeah, Mason, obviously.
You're just not that into Yahtzee if you don't have 24 Among Us.
Oh, Jesus. But we also had a brig room, a security room with a new task of rewinding the tapes so that you can then erase them by turning off. Okay, yeah, never mind. We also have medical with empty the garbage, which has returned here in a new location. A meeting room with several recurring tasks. A gap room that is just a big gap, which seems like a structural issue in a ship of this size, especially one that is flying. It has a moving platform, which also seems like a safety hazard because there are no railings on it. And it comes with a new task of accepting diverted power. We also have an engine room with several returning tasks, records that has sort records as a task, and then main hall with lots of similar things: a kitchen, showers, a large viewing deck, a lounge with a toilet cleaning minigame. I know you all come to Among Us for the toilet cleaning. Finally, I say finally, this shit just keeps going. Good lord. There's an armory with put-away rifles, put-away pistols. You didn't know that Among Us crewmates had militarized, but they have. The Rhineland is next. A cargo bay with unlock safe as a new minigame, and then ventilation and all the sussiness that comes with that. Communications, finally an outside area, and a hall of portraits. Overall, it's pretty huge. It's a pretty impressive vessel. Judging by the fact that the character featured in the trailer with a top hat uses a laser eye. They've also been experimenting with dangerous weaponry, and they will be invading your hometown soon.
Among Us has nukes.
Among Us has nukes. We need to invade them. I promise it's not for the large oil reserves we found on their ships. But yeah, that's my topic for today. Short and sweet. The Among Us airship. All right. Well, now it is back to Jack for another short and I am told a more serious topic.
Yeah, so really quick, David, you should put your Amogus dice on eBay, and then me and Mason can bid on it and artificially increase its value. And like we'll be millionaires. That's all I'm saying.
Oh yeah.
I'm
well,
going to be the dumbass who ends up with $400 Among Us dice. So
aside from the part where like I bought them from a site where you can easily buy them for cheap, I think that plan works great.
All right. Yes. So I have a topic that I want to turn into a full episode at some point. But I wanted to tell you guys about some of the Polynesian wayfinding techniques.
Okay.
That like in the movie Moana, that people on canoes with the sails on the outrigger traveling incredibly far distances with basically no equipment or compasses, just ingenuity. So,
right.
One first technique was birds, different kinds of birds. So, certain seabirds, like the white tern and the knotty tern, fly out to sea in the morning to hunt fish, then return to land at night. Navigators seeking land sail opposite the bird's path in the morning and with them at night, especially relying on large groups of birds and keeping in mind changes during nesting season.
Huh. So, I suppose that one kind of has like a range to it, though. Because if you follow the birds out and then kind of keep sailing past where they go, you're hoping that you see another flock of birds heading back in another direction to another nearby piece of land, correct?
Yes, so that one was, what you're saying makes sense. I would think that this is kind of more of a short range technique.
Okay.
Well, I'd imagine it would also be helpful with if there was a storm coming in. I'm sure birds would go back to shore, kind of give them a little heads up of how bad things were getting.
Yeah,
right.
That's a good point.
Harold Gatty suggested long-distance wayfinding using, Harold Gatty suggested that the Polynesians did long-distance wayfinding using seasonal paths of bird migrations. He wrote a book called The Raft Book, which was a survival guide that he wrote for the U.S. military during World War II. And Gatty outlined various Polynesian navigation techniques for shipwrecked sailors or aviators to find land. So, helping some Yankee boys. Here's an example of the longer range wayfinding. A voyage from Tahiti, the Tuamotus, or the Cook Islands to New Zealand might have followed the migration of the long-tailed cuckoo.
Huh.
Just as the voyage from Tahiti to Hawaii would coincide with the track of the Pacific golden plover and the bristle-thighed curlew.
Birds have some whack-ass names, dude.
Yeah, I want to know who got close enough to that bird's thighs to know they're bristled.
It's like, yeah, that's their distinguishing feature. Damn, look at those things. But no, that makes sense. That like the birds naturally know where to go, so you figure out, hey, they fly away during this season and kind of don't come back. They've got to be going somewhere. So you just follow them.
Yeah, it is also believed that Polynesians, like many seafaring peoples, kept shore-sighting birds. One theory is that voyagers took a frigate bird with them. This bird's feathers would become drenched and useless if it lands on water, so voyagers would release it when they thought they were close to land, and it would follow if it did not return back to the canoe, or they would follow it back to land. But if it was too far, it would just land back on the canoe.
Interesting.
That works until you have a really dumb bird.
Yeah. They have to give the birds entrance exams for the seafaring corps.
Now I'm just imagining this bird sweating bullets over like a student desk with a taper in front of it. But also the name frigate bird calls to mind very different imagery. I'm imagining some like huge bird, but this is entirely informed by my knowledge of what a frigate is from the Pirates of the Caribbean MMO, where frigate was the biggest class of ship you could own.
Frigate birds basically have a giant red nutsack on their chin that they blow up to try and mate. So part of them is giant, and it's the big air sac on their chest.
Okay.
Well, they have a 7.5 foot wingspan.
Good lord. So
they're also
huge.
just big.
Good lord. No, I'm looking at these dudes. They're pretty huge guys. They got the big old, yep. There's them with the chest air sac thing. That's like a super vibrant red too. That's wild.
Yes, it is.
Do you have experience with frigate birds, Mason, or did you just look up images like I did?
I looked up images. I went from can fish get cancer to frigate bird.
Fish cancer to Among Us airship to frigate birds.
Yes.
All right. What are some more techniques, Jack?
Next, we've got stars. Like in Moana, I don't know if the hand with the thumb resting on the horizon and the tip of the middle finger pointing at something else, I don't know what that's about. But the positions of the stars helped these Polynesian voyagers. Stars have the unique trait that they hold fixed celestial positions year-round as opposed to planets. And that made them very useful because when a star rises on the horizon is always the same, depending on the season, obviously, and how the Earth is rotating. And because the stars were predictable and fairly constant, Polynesian voyagers would set a heading star, or they would set a heading by a star near the horizon, so they would go towards that, and then they would switch to a new one once the first one rose too high. And they would follow a specific sequence of stars that they basically just memorized for how to get to different places.
Okay. That's interesting. The tracking one that's close to the horizon and then switching to a different one as that one rotates too far up. That's
Right.
a neat way to do it.
Yeah, and that might be the hand thing in Moana. I don't know.
Yeah, true. Probably pretty close to it.
Yeah. Next we have swell, which this is a little more complicated, but I'll try and make it understandable. Many habitable areas of the Pacific Ocean are groups of islands or atolls in chains hundreds of miles long. Island chains have predictable effects on waves and currents, and navigators who lived within a group of islands could learn the various effects these islands have on swell shape and direction and motion, and they could correct their paths based on how it's behaving. So basically barrier islands or groups of islands just make predictable current patterns, basically. Once they had arrived fairly close to a destination island, they would be able to pinpoint its locations by sightings of land-based birds. Makes sense. They could also use certain cloud formations. Meteorologically, clouds form differently over islands. And this is the really cool one. They could look at the reflections shallow water made on the undersides of clouds, which apparently looks different whether it's deep water or shallow water. And they could see that on the underside of a cloud.
Very interesting.
That's
It's pretty cool.
I'm gonna want to go out over water and see if there's a difference in the cloud. That's
And I'll try and explain swell here. So waves, for people who don't know, waves on the ocean and anywhere on lakes and stuff are caused by wind. Wind blows across the water, and when you see waves, they're not actually going in any direction. They're just going up and down. But the energy and force made by these waves undulating up and down creates what we call swell. And swell travels in one direction. Swells can last for days and days and could carry these Polynesian canoes in a straight line for quite a while. And because swell is created by wind, if they knew the local wind patterns, they could predict how the swell interacted with it and plan their trip accordingly.
Yeah, that one seems... I mean, hey, who am I to judge the navigational techniques of various cultures, but that one seems kind of hard to get down.
Yeah, it seems so.
Take a lot of practice.
I don't know how you...
It like the requirement of knowing the local wind patterns seems like, if you're completely lost, you won't know the local wind patterns, and therefore it won't be able to help you navigate. But I guess if you're trying to kind of find your way back to familiar territory, it might help then.
Yeah.
Well, any masters...
It's crazy.
Yeah, it really is. Any masters of swell water navigation, please let us know in the comments how you use it. And
How do
maybe
you get
we'll
swole?
Yeah, that.
Yeah. Swell stands, where you at? You know.
We got our steam stands. Swell stands.
I kind of touched on this on one of the earlier ones, but they use the clouds and the reflections off clouds, as well as the color of the sky, as another main technique for navigating. Polynesian navigators could identify the clouds that resulted from the white sand of coral atolls reflecting heat into the sky. Subtle differences in color of the sky also could be recognized as resulting from the presence of lagoons or shallow waters, as deep water was a poorer reflector of light, while the lighter color of the water in the lagoons and in shallow waters could be identified in the reflection in the sky.
Huh.
In eastern Polynesia, navigators sailing from Tahiti to the Tuamotus, Amogus, would
God.
sail
Christ.
In eastern Polynesia, navigators sailing from Tahiti to the Tuamotus would sail directly east towards Ana Atoll, which has a shallow lagoon that reflects a faint green color onto the clouds above the atoll. If the navigator drifted off course, they could correct their course when they sighted the reflection of the lagoon in the clouds in the distance. And the final technique, I guess, is navigational devices. And the amazing thing is that they really didn't have any. They had no compasses or anything like that. There's no historic evidence that at least the Polynesians specifically used any sort of device to navigate.
That's pretty crazy.
Yeah, it's pretty impressive given that so much of their culture was based around seafaring.
Yeah, that's nuts. I imagine the stars one would be pretty helpful. Like, I mean, that's effectively like how the Europeans navigated for quite some time. The astrological navigation. And the cloud reflection thing is cool too. I actually want to give that a try next time I'm on the water.
Yeah, me too. The like, just imagine you and your friends go on a sailing trip and you just sabotage the navigation system or something, or the sat nav, and your friends are freaking out like, oh, what are we gonna do? And you say, no guys, I got it, I know Polynesian techniques. And then and then you get them all killed trying to do it. But
yeah, I was gonna say, you heard that right, folks. Sabotage your GPS, navigate like the Polynesians. Our podcast told you to do it. Oh man,
we're gonna get sued for that one.
Yeah, probably. We are not actually recommending that for legal reasons. This is a joke.
Yeah, but that's that.
Well, very nice. Thank you for the two serious topics today. So, Mason, it is now your time.
All right.
What topic have you prepared for us?
So mine is definitely going to be more on the not so serious side. Um,
Okay.
Something that is often connected to um, a lot of maritime history is sea monsters. And what sea monster or water monster is more popular than the Loch Ness monster? Uh, there is a recent theory that surfaced. I'm seeing different reports. One says it surfaced in the spring of 21, and another says it surfaced this past August. So I'm not going to do too much research into which of those is true. But the newest theory about the Loch Ness monster, and this is cited based off a picture that was published in 1934, probably the most popular picture of the Loch Ness monster that most of our listeners have probably seen. It's a black and white picture where it just looks like a serpent head. It's just kind of coming up out of the water with some little waves coming off of it. Scientists now believe that that is probably just a picture of a whale penis.
You're kidding.
I am not.
Wait, so how I mean, I guess a whale could get into Loch Ness, but
No. So, no, I don't think that. I think it's just so we know the picture is fake because the Loch Ness
Right.
monster doesn't exist. It's
watch your tone, but okay.
all right. The Loch Ness monster may or may not exist, but as far as I remember, Scooby Doo caught them in an episode in like 1996. So I think we all know he's not real. Um, so
All right.
this picture is believed to have been a picture of a whale penis. Whales often mate in groups of three, two males and one female. And while one male is getting busy, the other one floats upside down with its penis out of the water.
That seems,
Can't
that
make this
seems
up,
like-
folks.
Why? Why do they do what they do?
Well, if you're a blue whale and you've got a 10-foot penis, you might as well show it off.
Just like, yeah, look at this.
I also want to mention, if you look this up, there's a number of good memes that go along with this picture. One of them says,
Some more deep.
yeah, one of them says, sorry, scientists, oh look, it's a sea monster, whale, ha, that's what she said.
Jesus Christ, that's so dumb.
It's so bad.
Oh my god.
But I really love it. Okay, so there's only one problem with this theory. And that's that we know it's not true because this picture from 1934, it was taken by a man named Christian Sperling, who was a surgeon. He reportedly saw this creature on the lake and took pictures of it, and then it was posted in some local newspapers and kind of made its way around a lot of media to show that the Loch Ness monster had finally been found. And then in the early 90s, when Christian Sperling was on his deathbed, he said, haha, psych, I put a fake serpent head on a toy submarine and I threw it in the lake.
Yeah.
Is that an exact quote?
No, that is not an exact quote. This was a surgeon in his 90s that was dying. I don't think. So it was an 18-inch. It was an 18-inch clay submarine with a fake sea serpent head attached to it that they then drove around in the lake until they could get the best possible picture of it.
That seems like a lot of work, but
it does.
Yeah.
But this extends past the Loch Ness monster in that in early seafaring days, while there was still a lot of exploration going on, all these captains and shipmates could do to document what they'd seen was try and draw it as quickly as they could and take those drawings home. And realistically, a lot of the sea monsters that we see pictures of in historical writings and stuff are probably just whale penises because they are so large and they often swim with them out of the water.
Just this revelation of like here be dragons. Nah, it's just whale cock.
So, I never want to hear you guys refer to it as the Loch Ness Monster again. It shall from here on be known as the Cock Ness Monster.
Okay, I can do that. I don't know how often I will be referencing the Cock Ness Monster, but when I get a chance to, I will.
Well, boys,
Wait,
that's
so
all I've got. Oh, sorry, go ahead.
Just for clarity's sake, there are no whales in Loch Ness, correct?
Yes, I would believe so. I don't think there are any whales in Loch Ness.
Okay.
Yeah.
So there's no way that could be true.
No, I don't believe so. It is.
Okay.
Yeah, naivete on my part for instead of being like, man, like that couldn't work. There aren't any whales in there. I was like, well, how did they get a whale into Loch Ness? It's easier to... Oh, go ahead.
I'm just looking at a map of where Loch Ness is. It's pretty damn central in Scotland. So,
dude, you never know. Those whale smugglers are industrious.
Maybe they're like
Gojira, flying whales.
Maybe they're like salmon. You know, they swim back to where they were born.
They swim upstream. Just the image of a sperm whale just like slamming its way up a really tiny little creek. That's good.
They make one whale kill themselves each year so that it can show its penis to keep the legend going.
That's another option.
It's a great honor. Oh, actually, there is a creek that runs that then connects to a different lake that then connects to the sea.
Okay, so baby whale swims upstream. It's raised by salmon. It was abandoned.
Okay.
It's raised by salmon, so it naturally swims upstream to breed.
The fish equivalent of being raised by wolves.
Yeah.
What's wrong with Frankie the blue whale? Oh, he was raised by salmon. Oh, man.
Actually, there might be a problem. Oh, no, never mind. We're good. I thought there might have been a lock system on this river.
So someone could have theoretically taken him up there.
How do we get a whale up there?
That's what caused him to build the lock system, dude. Sitting there like, man, how do we get a whale?
Oh.
Well,
all right. Well, that was my topic. Thank you guys for joining.
Of course. Well, dear listeners, please let us know if you do like this more short form version of an episode. We can do more serious ones in the future, or more less serious ones if you guys enjoy those as well. So thank you oh so very much for listening, and with that, why don't we do a very abbreviated what you've been up to outside the world of Among Us history. Jack, do you want to start?
Yeah, I'll start. I'm very excited to tell you guys about this. I was perusing Spotify. I was trying to search up the song Fred Jones Part 2 by Ben Folds. Mm-hmm. And I just started off with Fred, and I found a cornucopia of playlists. The first one was dating Fred Weasley, heart character.
Hold on.
Yes.
Hold on. So
You have a question.
You're like stumbling across people's like self-insert fanfic playlists of. Okay, continue.
Yeah,
Sorry.
so-
is it all music by Ed Sheeran?
Okay, let me check. So this
Because he's the only prominent
this
redhead artist I can think of.
this playlist has 4,710 likes.
Oof.
Dating Fred Weasley, heart. We've got Rick Montgomery, Khalid, Lord, Neon Trees, Everybody Talks. Okay.
Yeah, that's an interesting one.
Sunflower, Rex Orange County. That's a good song. Okay, this is a decent playlist actually. Oh nope, Hey There Delilah's on it. Never mind.
We out.
But we also have a best friends to lovers slow burn relationship with George Weasley. 1,255 likes.
Who's making these?
Someone who has a lot of time.
I mean, that's like decently popular, though. I feel like that's been latched onto for the meme.
It's just, yeah. And now that I've found this, I'm sure there's thousands of others dating X character self-insert playlists.
Listeners, please send us links to your personal self-insert fanfic playlists. Good Lord. Okay, with that note, Mason, what have you been up to outside of the world of naval history?
Mine is much less exciting. Recently got back from a trip to Mexico, which was really awesome. Cool place to visit. If you do go to an all-inclusive resort there, I have never been anywhere where they push alcohol so hard. If you ask for water, they will laugh in your face and say, haha, Mexican water, and bring you a shot of tequila.
Good Lord.
So you have to ask like 3 to 4 times to actually get a glass of water.
That's crazy.
So I had a really good time.
Yeah. Hard not to. Oh, let's see. My personal side has been being obsessed with the video game Chivalry 2. Now, for those of you who don't know, Chivalry 2 is up to 64 players of medieval multiplayer combat, and it is some of the goofiest shit that I have played in a long time. So, and I suppose on a much more important note, my wife and I did move into the house. So, an update from the previous episode's personal side of things. So, chilling in the new house, decapitating people with Highland greatswords. You know, it's been pretty good.
Pretty casual.
Oh, yeah. All right. With that, thank you guys so much for listening to the Salty Siren podcast. And we will see you next time for some more maritime history, fun, or just general memes. Who knows?
Oh, Johnny, Johnny, call and hear the ancient song of sailors long forgone and sailors still to be. A sweet and solemn tune spoke gently by the tide. Oh, Johnny, Johnny, fall, join the song.